Ed Sheeran may be quitting music in the next week or two.
Say it ain't so.
Ed Sheeran threatens to quit music if he loses copyright trial ahead of new album release. He's facing a $100 million lawsuit that was at one point thrown out, then brought back.
How can it be brought back like that?
Is it some sort of different management? Or I think
that's not criminal. This is civil,
Yeah.
right? So I guess you can always sue. I think if you can't be tried twice for the same crime, but I think if it's civil, you might be able to keep suing. I don't know for sure.
It's all over. Oh, go ahead, Katie.
Well, just going to say that the fact that Ed Sheeran is, I know that we overuse the term like, I'm done or I can't. You know what?
Yeah,
I say
right.
that 50 times a day. But when Ed Sheeran makes it public that if he loses this, he's done, he's angry.
And he's been saying this because I guess it was first filed in 2017. It's just now made it to like a Manhattan federal court. But and there's at one point, I thought one judge threw it out. We'll get with our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, to get confirmation. But he's been saying the whole time, this is music, and I wouldn't do this on purpose. And he said, if this is how it's going to be, it's not even worth it because you just got people out there waiting for something to be successful and say, hey, you copied us. Now, some people do it on purpose, and they should pay the price. It's all over the Marvin Gaye song. Here's an Ed Sheeran, Marvin Gaye mashup. You can kind of be the judge.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long.
Marvin Gaye.
And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Darling, I will
Okay, before
All right,
you
he
make
should
that
resign.
face, Katie.
He should resign.
No, I'm not musically,
Before you make,
inclined.
I know what
to
you're
know.
about to do. Okay. I see it now.
No.
I hear the rest of the population does.
I hear not. I think it was a great mashup, but I am not musically inclined to even know the damn
But
difference.
the thing is, what bothers me about the Ed Sheeran thing is, yes, there are similarities in the notes and the progression and the beat and the melody at certain times, right?
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is, and you can do this with a lot of songs.
Yeah.
I could probably find, if you give me a few days, I could probably find about 15 songs that would fit over what Jared just played. That would be like, oh yeah, I hear this going together because there's only so many chords and notes and progressions out there. You could take a lot of pop songs or any songs and put them together like that and say, oh yeah, I can hear that. And that's what's
I
happening.
could scroll TikTok right now and give you 15 DJs who create mashups, and I watch every single one of them, and I'm like, damn, that's really good. Two songs you never thought would go together, and then they effortlessly are, in a club making it sound like it does. So I don't get the lawsuit. I don't.
But I get the lawsuit.
Well, I understand it,
but I
but-
think we're running out of ways that, what I'm
Right.
saying? It's not, I don't think it's a blatant ripoff like word for word and every melody in this. If you take the songs separately, they sound like two different songs. They're definitely two different songs. Are there similarities in chord progression, notes, and whatnot? Yes, and there's going to be a lot of people that agree with that. So Ed Sheeran's mad. He's just going to give up because he's
What can he do?
And I guess in court, he actually had to play the guitar and sing and show them that you can do this with a lot of songs. And the problem is we have already set the standard at times with like that Sam Smith song. And Tom Petty. Was it Sam Smith and Tom Petty?
Yeah.
And I still to this day, I'm like, that is the furthest thing I hear.
Right.
Or the Dua Lipa and the In Excess song.
Or Blurred Lines, but they actually did copy that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
if
They
you're
had to pay $8
sampling
million,
and similar sound of note, you know what I'm saying?
That's as
I don't know.
far as my understanding of it goes. If you sample without permission, then I'm like, you should sue. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, I don't. Did Blurred Lines sample, or they
Yeah, it
just,
was
or they
very
try to
close.
get it? They just try to get away with it. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I
but
think they tried to get away with it. That was a little bit more blatant of straight up, right? I don't know.
But this one, I can't.
Since we got to be here, let's live.
That's Marvin Gaye.
This is a popular.
So honey now,
Pay the man. Pay the estate.
This is a popular chord progression.
I've been flipped.
And I guarantee you, any mixed DJ easily could put. You take out any words of those songs and put a completely different song over that. the same way, and it would sound, oh, this is the song.
All right, we do have
I
our.
want you to find one.
Blurred Lines did. It was a Marvin Gaye song. Got to Give It Up was the song that.
Yeah.
So Marvin
supposedly-
Gaye, it seemed Marvin Gaye's team, they're
on
vicious.
it. He's on it. Maybe they're more on it than other people.
Maybe.
And they also got a boatload of money off that.
Yeah, they did. Millions and millions of dollars. I think that Pharrell and Robin Thicke ended up making no money off of it
Yeah.
because they had to pay it all back. All right, let's go to our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Ed Sheeran, he won in Great Britain, but he was
what it
sued
was.
for a different song, and he won there. I think that might be what you guys are thinking about. But here, this has taken a while. Like you said, Marvin Gaye's estate, they do not mess. They do not play. They go after anybody that has anything that they think. And, like you guys were just saying when you played them, you hear the similarity. But, Jason, you nailed it with the current state of the analysis here is that there, over time, with music, there's only so many combinations. And so the standard is kind of shifted to where it has to be more than common chord combinations and progressions.
It has.
And if it has to be, because like you said, there's only so many ways you can put music together.
Right,
and
but is that recently that this has changed the standard, or is it moving
the
there?
standard has gotten. Yeah, the standard, it used to be that if something just sounded kind of like it, they would slap, a verdict on them for copyright infringement. But it's gotten to a point where we're seeing that happen less frequently because, like you said, there's only so many progressions. And so it has to go a certain length, and there's no fixed answer to it. It just has to be more than a haphazard coincidence of a chord progression. But they also have to show that the songwriters had heard the song before and that they were familiar with it. And here, it wasn't just Ed Sheeran. He co-wrote this with a woman, and she didn't have any formal music training. I don't know if she was exposed to, and she's the one that put this chord progression together. And she said, look, I don't have any formal music training. I just self-taught a few chords, and this is what I was putting together. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it comes out. The whole thing about him quitting music, I don't know. I thought that was sort of.
But Lisa, if you were involved with this case, would you think that Ed Sheeran would come out a winner, or do you think that the Marvin Gaye people, it's going to come through for them?
I think it's really too close to call, honestly, because, like you said, it's very similar, and it's going to come down to whether or not the trier of fact here believes that it was just a chord progression that you could find in 50 million different places accidentally, or it's actually an infringement. Because it could be, the idea with infringement is you heard this at some point and it stuck with you and you were like, I'm going to use that and expand on it or use it in a different way. And it's going to come down to the testimony. It's going to come down to how that progression occurs to the jury. I think, and I'm not certain it's a jury. I just want to say trier of fact. It could be a judge, but I think it's a jury.
I think it is a jury. Because I read something about like he played some songs or a song for this song, I guess, for the jury. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if what do you think, Lisa? His celebrity and natural, he's naturally likable. Mm-hmm. Well, even if, let's say he was guilty, it's going to help him, right?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like, with the Johnny Depp trial. He was the likable one there. And, this is a situation, too, where you always kind of have a disadvantage if you're representing a deceased entity, the entity that took over for the deceased person. They're not there. There's a lot less sympathy for that estate than there would be if it was actually like Marvin Gaye was still alive and he was like, dude, you ripped me off.
And one time I was learning to play the guitar as a kid. This is where this stems from, deep roots. Deep roots. But I was learning to play the guitar as a kid, and this is the other side of me. I do believe there is a subconscious that you don't really remember that you heard this song, but it's in your subconscious, right? So I was learning to play guitar, and I said, you know what? I want to start trying to do something original. And I did this chord progression. I got with this other people in high school that played the drums and the bass, and we did it. And I brought it to the music teacher. I'm like, this is what I came up with. And the music teacher goes, wow, this is really good. It sounds very familiar, but I can't pinpoint it. And I'm like, well, that's good. I guess that's a cool thing. It sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew anything. 2 years later, I was listening to the radio, and I heard a song. I'm like, holy crap, that's the same chord progression that I was using. Very similar.
We made it on the radio.
And it was just a little, the only thing different was like a dun 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 during the chord progression. I'm like, that's a 38 Special song. Oh. And that's what it was. So in theory, if I did that song and it became famous, somebody would come back and say, you stole that. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Or was it in my subconscious that
You didn't even
I didn't
realize.
realize it? So then what do you do?
Yeah.
Guys, I could see that with
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran and this
where
girl.
the exposure. That's why the exposure is such a big important element to prove, because like where some of these, you see a lot of these really, really old R&B artists that, I mean, from decades and decades and decades ago, when Elvis was first getting his start, like that era, and some of those estates are coming back and trying to say that people like Ed Sheeran ripped him off, and it's like some song from like 1949 or whatever that Ed Sheeran's never heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a case where that's important, because if he never heard the song, he could not have intentionally ripped it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter whether you don't have to prove actual intent, but you have to prove exposure. That's kind of the substitute for intent.
She's great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning, Lisa Lanier. Lisa, while we have you, a personal note from me. I was going to hire you as my entertainment attorney because this movie that I'm having written. But there's a writer's strike right now, so I'll put that on hold for right now.
Take some time off, Lisa.
Plus, I don't have any money. So, but when that ends, we'll get together, and you can choose to represent me or not in negotiations.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about the writer's strike impacting you like
See,
that.
we didn't either.
I read about that. Yeah.
I realized it all in the air, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got somebody writing me a screenplay right now.
We're now referring to Jared as the curse.
Yeah,
That's right.
of course.
The curse.
The one time I have something decent going in my life, a worldwide writer's strike. All right. She's great, though. Thank you, Lisa. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning. If you're ever injured on the job, she does a lot more than that. Contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.